have your fear, which might become reality. And you have Godzilla, which is reality.
I'm sick of Godzilla.
Wake up, everyone!
There are two things you don't know about the Earth. One is me, and the other is Godzilla.
We're safe here. No human being can understand that. The monsters on Monster Island can understand it.
Whether he returns or not, or is never again seen by human eyes, the things he has taught us remain.
Are
Yes,
we
sir.
here? Hey,
We're here.
we're back for I think one of the funnest episodes of the year. These are always fun. But Jay, we were talking about this earlier. This is a dangerous episode for me. I took today off of work, not specifically just for this, but I planned it to take it off for today and make sure I had my list set. I've been going over my top 10 list for the last week or so, changing things, taking things off, throwing things on that I didn't know existed until yesterday. Like just there's a couple things on my list that I tried to look at it a little differently this year, and I put a few things that are on my list are specific a figure that I want.
Yes.
But then a couple things are just like, here's a collection I want to start. Here's a collection I want to start. So I tried to look at it a little differently this year, but we'll get into that. Jay, how are you?
I ditto. No, this is my favorite episode of the year. I love this episode. It is the most expensive episode because after this we're like, okay, well,
We're
I don't
buying
want to come
toys
out
tonight.
I know it's like we're gonna buy some toys because this is just like hammered home. But like you, the last week my list has changed a ton. So I'm excited. I mean, and the cool thing about this is, for those that don't know, like, we haven't seen each other's lists. Like I can guess a couple on yours. I'm sure you could do the same, but I love just the sheer surprise of seeing like what madness you're going to bring to the list this year. So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited about it because you're like, specifically because you're going to have things on your list that I've never heard of, I bet. And I'm going to be like, oh my God, what is that? There's always things where it's like, I don't know, dude. It opens way too many rabbit holes. I do want to say, because it's not on my list, there was something that I had on my list.
Yeah.
And as I was, I found some for sale.
Yeah.
I'm not going to reveal it. We'll reveal it whenever it comes in, and we'll do it as a pickup. But I literally had it really high on my list, have been looking for these things for a long time, like actively on my, like every night when I get on eBay, it's one of the things I look for. And I was just doing some research and I found some, and it's not all of them, but I was like, what the fuck? And then it was crazy because it was like 2 a.m, Jay.
It's the best shopping time.
I wanted to message you immediately because I needed you to check your channels to see if they were cheaper where I thought they would be. But I'm like, oh, he's asleep. I was like, Jay's not awake. So I waited until the morning, and the first thing I did when I woke up was message you, Jay, go look on this site and see if this is on there. And they were, and we got it. So
yeah. No, it's signed, sealed, and delivered. Yeah, I'm excited for you to show. Those were cool. I'd never seen them before either. So like, it was cool to me too, because it was like a totally something I'd never ever seen, didn't know existed, and I thought they were super awesome. So I'm excited for them actually to show up.
I know talking about them without saying them. So whenever they come in, we'll do a whole thing on them. But they're not here yet. So before we get to that, Jay, top you want to talk about before we get into news or pickups or anything?
Well, I mean, I think the one thing, unfortunately, there's one bit of sad news, obviously, that happened this last week was the passing of Kenpachiro Satsuma, the Godzilla and Hedorah, and Heisei Godzilla and Hedorah, and Orochi and Pulgasari, Gigan. I mean, like, he was Gigan. lots of iconic stuff. I mean,
bummer. Yeah.
I know. I mean, the dude had his appendix taken out while in the Hedorah costume. Like, I mean, like, dude was awesome. I know a lot of people in the community had interactions with him and stuff, and confirmed how just good a person he was. So that was tough for the community. But unfortunately, when you are when your fandom, when the property that you're a fan of and your fandom goes back to 1954 and has never really had, you know, super extended time off from producing something, like it's going to happen, right? Like a lot of our early heroes are getting to that age and have since passed, some for decades. So it sucks. It's terrible, but that was a tough one.
Yep, it sucked. Especially those are, you know, that's Heisei Godzilla, some of the best.
I mean, for you,
stuff,
I mean, 89.
You know, for me, some of the I'm happy I got to meet him, you know, before his passing, and you know, it was nice to see everybody, you know, posting their photos and their memories of him and everything. But yeah, that was a big bummer that day.
It was. But yeah, the only other thing I had was, you know, I have my question I was going to ask you was, have you seen Shin Kamen Rider?
I actually almost watched it today. I almost put it on, and the reason I didn't is because I was working on my list, and I knew if I put it on, I wouldn't be paying attention to it because I would be working on the list. So I ended up just putting Mothra versus Godzilla on and watching that instead. But
you can't beat that. Huh?
Yeah, it's playing in the background. It'd been a while since I rewatched that one, so I was like, let me put this on. But no, I have not watched Shin Kamen Rider yet.
Well, that's okay.
Maybe over the holidays.
It's a great holiday flick.
Yeah.
You should. There's some really good there's some it might be one of those things where like it'll get you to start watching some of the older stuff, and then you can look at the toys, and then like it's a whole great thing to do, like kind of lounging around over the holidays. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm gonna make my mom watch it.
Oh, she'll love it.
She'll hate it.
Well, other than Mothra versus Godzilla, have you been watching any other stuff?
You know what? I did watch a little bit of something else, but I'm going to talk about it when I get to our list.
Oh, intriguing. I like that. I like that, man.
Yeah.
What
about you?
Yeah, actually, I have been watching some stuff. I know I mentioned this last time we were on the show. I started watching some of the Showa Gamera stuff, or rewatching it, I should say. Some of it, it's been a while, but a lot of it, you know, we've watched recently. I mean, hell, we did Gamera versus Baragon not too long ago on the show. But I was talking to Ryan Wilhelm about this when we did our Shin Kamen Rider review. Is like, I really want to do like a Gamera Showa retrospective and like ranking show and like just kind of talk about that, because it's so funny. Like those shows are all, you know, they're all wacky. Well, especially like the later you get. But I feel that like there's some like, I don't know, like I feel people kind of have them in like groupings. Like, okay, like top tier, you know, you're gonna have, you know, Gamera versus Jiger and Gauss or Baragon or whatever. Like, so I'm curious to see if that actually holds true, or if that's just something I've made up in my head. Because I think like, I mean, everybody knows Gamera Super Monster is what it is. But like, I don't know. I feel like there could be like, I don't know. I feel like there could be some fluidity between the other 7. Yeah.
I wonder if you're just romanticizing the old Gamera movies. You haven't seen them in so long. You're like, no, I bet they're great. Now you're gonna sit through them and be like, oh my god.
Oh no, they're definitely not all great. I just been like, as far as like ranking them, like I feel like there's some that like, I don't know. I feel like one man's trash could be another man's treasure in reality. So it's like, I might like Zigra more than most people, but I don't know. I'm curious to see how it all breaks out. So I want to like, I'd love to like talk to like 20 people and get their rankings, and then kind of compare them to mine and do that. But I enjoyed watching the series. And like I said, it hasn't been too long on some, but like I said, I haven't watched Gamera Super Monster in a few years, and I don't know the last time I watched Gamera versus Zigra.
I mean, same. It's been a long. I used to watch them a lot when I was growing up. I used to rent the Gamera movies all the time. I would watch them, like, especially like through middle school. I remember in middle school just being like super into Gamera and watching them all the time. And I own all of them. You know, they all got released. Remember back when you'd go to Walmart and it would be like 10 Gamera movies on a thing. So, but I haven't sat and watched any of them in a while either. So maybe that's a plan.
You know what? Actually, talking about Gamera totally made me think of something else I forgot to mention at the top of the show. So, the reason it connects to Gamera is because I don't know if you saw. Oh, actually, you did. I sent it to you. Our good buddy Danny DeMana, and who's Godzilla novelization project, and Kaiju Kim and a couple other folks did Santa Gals is Coming to Town, which is now on YouTube. Everybody go check that out. It's hilarious. It's awesome. It's great. Yeah. And I didn't know Danny could sing, so great stuff there. But that made me think of those guys. And we just this last weekend chill with Kaiju Kim, which she doesn't do her show anymore, but every year, this is the third year they've done a charity live stream for Toys for Tots. And this year, Jake, in their 4-hour stream, they raised $1,200. That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's,
4 hours. 4 hours.
Yeah. And awesome. I say I joined for a little bit, but we gave our YHS on Monster Island donation, and they donated some Toku Toy Town toys as a giveaway and
Very
stuff.
cool.
But it was a cool, and they do some really cool stuff. And it's just kind of cool to see, like, one channel of this fandom do something really great during the holiday season. And so kudos to Kim and Danny and Nathan and Michael and Elijah and everybody else that was part of that. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad she's still doing that, even though she's not doing the show. That's very cool.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, at the first one, I think they did like 700, and they did, I think, like 1,000 last year. Yeah, 1,200 there. Even though, like I said, she's not even doing her weekly show, she's still raising a lot of money for that. So kudos to Kim and team.
Very cool. Yeah, very cool. Well, Jay, if you got that you watched, I guess we'll move on. We'll do some pickups. You got any?
Do some pickups? I got 2. How about you? Do you have any this week?
I got 1.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. It's saving more room and shelf space for our top 10 list.
Yeah, I showed my shin last week, right? My X Plus shin.
Yes, okay. You did. Yes,
and yeah, I got one thing. Yeah,
nice. Well, the first one I got, I mean, we've been talking about it on the show for many years now, and we're getting one step closer to the finish line. We have number 88 is here, and he's a beaut. He is a beaut. Number 88 is here. Just came in yesterday. It's a clear, transparent vinyl. Look at the feet. Transparent vinyl.
Clear tail.
Yeah, with the blue interior spray and some gold on the outside. It's a solid piece. It's a solid piece. I love it. It's one of my favorites. I feel like the last 3 or 4 that they've released have been really like strong. The Arai one and this one are 2 of my favorites. So I love this guy. It's great. So he's number 88. So who will be 89? I don't know. Will it be before those Godzilla store exclusives come out?
You haven't bought 89 yet. You haven't even bought it yet. You haven't found one.
No, I've actually bought 90 because I have 2 that I've bought, but I just don't know when they're going to ship because I think they're like in April. So what happens is if I get one before, then I might just have to cancel or
you'll pick one to okay.
Yeah, cool. It goes on the store. But yeah, because it's not good for going over 89. It's staying there. So it's going to happen. I just don't know which one will be the worst will be if 2 show up at the same time.
We're going to have to throw a party. Throw a party for 89.
Oh, I've already thought. Yeah, I mean, I need. There'll have to be a video. I'll talk about all the names and backstories of all of them. My favorites, my least favorite children, my favorite children, everything. It'll be amazing. But yeah, it's coming. I mean, it's kind of sad because I can look over there and I see the one spot that's already like ready for the last one. I mean, it's the setup's there. It's done. It's just got to plop them in.
Yeah, I'm a little blurry here, but.
No, that's okay. I can hear you. The other thing I got, I'm actually like, this already goes to the top of my favorite vinyl toys that I own. Like it shot to number 1. Or not number 1, but it shot up there. And it's by an artist that we both like, but the piece is so cool. It's not a licensed property. It's definitely a designer indie toy. But I was so bummed. Everybody's at DesignerCon, and we'll talk about it in a second. They're buying all this awesome stuff. I'm like, oh, I want that. So you know what? I'm just like fumbling around on Instagram, and I see that the art gallery, the Clutter Art Gallery, the toy gallery up in New York, is having like they're having one of their events, and a lot of the stuff goes on their site, right? And you've ordered stuff from Clutter too. And one of the pieces that was on there was from Mark Nagata, something he did back in like 2015. And it was a line he did called the Mecha Dinosaur, and then there was the Mecha Gorilla as well that went with it. And it was a Mecha Dinosaur, which it's a beautifully designed piece, but it's classic Mark Nagata paint job on top, and they had it there for like a really good price, and so I had to grab it. I mean, it was just like it was a no-brainer, and I got it in, and it's one of those. It's way better in person. Like you just start noticing things.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. So here he is. It kind of looks like Youngary, but it's this Mecha Dinosaur. Here's
Look
the
at that glitter.
Here's the regular side, the dino side, and then you turn him around, boom, and he's full Mecha. Even the horn is like the metal horn. I love that piece. But this thing is like just totally rad.
That's awesome. Yeah, that is awesome, dude.
And the colors are great because it's like this. You're like me. You love like the totally historically inaccurate, like kind of retro depictions and vintage pictures of dinosaurs, right?
Yeah.
This totally looks like, tail dragging dinosaur, Ceratosaurus, they made the horn too big, or Youngary or whatever. So it's like, I love that. And it's treated in that same way, and with respect and love and reverence. And then bam, you have the mecha piece on the other side, which is like, nope, he's a cyborg.
That's a very cool toy.
Yeah, 100% love this. And of course, I shown it, and then good buddy Michael Lynch, at Sweaty Vinyl on Instagram. He's like, oh, here's mine, and he has the gorilla too. And I didn't know they made the gorilla. And and it's the same thing. It's like half King Kong on one side and half Mechanic Kong on the other. It's really cool too.
Well, you gotta get that one next.
Oh, I told him, I go, hey, be on the lookout. If you see another one, just let me know. But he did those a while ago, and I love this one. And of course, it's signed on the bottom here. It's Nagata 2015 on the foot. It's in red ink, so it's kind of hard to see on the black vinyl, but it's there, I promise.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So cool. So I mean, that was one of those. It's like I knew I was gonna like it, but it came and it was like, it reminds me of almost like the reaction I had when you got me that secret base Godzilla you picked up for me at New York Comic Con.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. I can't believe we got it this price. This is gonna be cool. And then I'm like, oh no, this is one of my favorite pieces in my collection. Like I love it that much. This is skyrocketed up to the top, especially in the kind of more designer vinyl, indie vinyl, non-licensed property type stuff. It's non-IP stuff. It's great.
Cool. All right. So Jay, I also got something from Clutter.
No way.
From the Clutter Gallery. Yeah, my one pickup is also from them. And what's crazy is I saw this toy out of nowhere and it popped up, and I feel like I get a little bit of explanation because it is a mashup. Okay. Usually I don't go in for mashup.
Yeah, you're usually anti-mashup.
It's not usually my thing. This is the first, I think the first in a series.
Mm-hmm.
And the two properties that are mashed up, I don't know if there's a logic between it, but I'll tell you, it's Ultra Q and Star Wars.
Oh, wow.
And the first figure, now these were, I had been like watching it because I was like, I have to have this.
Yeah.
They were, the toys went on sale, I think on Friday, whenever the gallery went up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I will say this, it's the first time I've ever bought anything through Clutter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
And it was an awful, it took an hour. The website, it was real bad. It was like really, I mean, it could have been my computer as we're seeing, but I think their website was having some issues. But here's another thing is, there's only three of these figures.
Oh, wow.
I got number 1 of 3.
Love it.
For the Ultra Q Star Wars Bakamon, Chewbacca and Garamon crossover here.
That makes so much sense. That is beautiful. Like, how does that not exist before? Oh my god.
Nekasatsu is the creator of this, little tail in the back.
Oh my god.
I don't know if you can see the 1 of 3 there on the bottom, but I was just like, well, this is silly. I want this. So I was
but
like,
it's also awesome.
Yeah, I don't this mashup works. I don't know what the rest are going to be, and if this is a thing, I'll try to continue. But I was like, this one I'm gonna have. And
so you know what? You know what I think I like that about that, other than it's like adorable and awesome and cool. But I think like that mashup, like if that creature came onto the set of Ultra Q, it would work.
It would.
Also, if it was on the set of Star Wars, or they're like, hey, this is like the proto Wookiee from you know, early days of Kashyyyk and everything, like I would be like, that's also believable.
Or if you had this like instead of the Porg, yeah, it like looks like it would fit in.
Or Bobby Frick is that guy now, but I think that makes it like work. But also, like aside from that, if that didn't have any property tie-ins and that was just a vinyl toy sitting there looking like that is awesome.
Yeah, I loved it, and I was like, I have to get this. So. Man,
I tell you, you've been okay. So, I mean, it's like your X Plus and all the other stuff you've been getting. I think between the Kaiju toys, the Chilean soft vinyl company, those the what are they called? The GOMs, well, I forgot what
GOM.
they're
GOM.
Between
Kaiju
that,
toys, GOM.
But between that and this one, like you've been finding some like really cool pieces that I've never seen.
Yeah,
before.
weird.
That's
stuff.
awesome.
Well, it's just like I've been gravitating towards weird, you know. I like it. So
we don't think it is. I think it's all that time you spend on toy anxiety where you're inundated with the opposite of weird.
Yeah.
The stuff that you've seen. I mean, how many Batmans can you make?
Exactly.
And then you have now I have a Bakuman.
I need that. Yeah, a Bakuman.
I tease. I kid.
I just like what a mashup. Ultra Q. Yeah. I tried to. I showed that off on Toy Anxiety last night, and I was like, I was trying to describe Ultra Q to a bunch of people who, you know, don't know anything about Tokusatsu or Godzilla or anything. So, but yeah, I thought it was great. It was my one pickup. I actually got something that's on its way to me. I bet it comes in tomorrow. I got a kind of a cool toy that I'll have for next. The next one. But yeah, that's it for pickups for me.
You know, the only toy I think that I have coming that's on its way is one I bought on the show after you like were talking about it and convinced me that was that Super 7 the clear Mecha Godzilla.
That's what I got coming.
Oh,
That's literally the toy I was talking about. I think it will be here this week. It's the Mecha Godzilla. I wasn't going to tell you. Yeah, that's
I was because that one I kind of tuned out after the Shogun one and everything, and then like I would have missed that one had you not brought it up on the show. And I was like,
it's awesome.
Oh, what is that? I'm going to buy that. So I think that's the only thing I have coming in.
Funny.
Oh no, you do have something else coming in. That thing we talked about earlier. Just so you know, like while we've been chatting, it's shipping over to you, and you should receive it in the next couple.
Okay,
days.
Cool.
So
cool.
yeah,
Perfect.
It's gonna be there, man. It's gonna be there.
I'll have a couple.
It's like an early holiday present, you know.
Yeah, cool. Well, dude, that's it for pickups. I guess we'll talk about. We got a little bit of news, some DesignerCon news. See what we got. Not a ton of stuff, but Mondo coming out hot this weekend.
Oh yeah, let's pull that up. I got some pictures of everybody. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I think we can talk a couple things at DesignerCon.
Sure.
I mean, as every DesignerCon is. This is not new. Like DesignerCon is like, you know, there's like 700 artists there. I mean, it's huge. It's at the Anaheim Convention Center, right? And it's so big, but it does obviously. It's more art toy, designer toy. There's a lot of kaiju centric stuff there, but that's not the priority, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to focus really on things that kind of fit in our world.
Sure. We don't have time for everything. That's
I mean,
you would have
to have a show every day.
This is our top 10 list.
I know, right?
We're gonna go along. So
I know. I want to pull up some of the stuff, but Mondo. I think Mondo came in super hot with the obviously the James Groman stuff, some of their exclusives. The 3-pack we can talk about, and the Candy Bolton stuff is just ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, I had to put that on there because it's too beautiful not to put on here.
Yeah,
but I know it's like all of those were one of ones. I think so.
They are. Yeah, the 3 Candy Boltons on the right, and then that green Groman is also a one-off.
Yeah, I mean that thing was so cool. But the cool thing is the other two, the glitter sparkle Space Godzilla, I don't know what's the official name of is this their Midnight Blue or did they change it?
I'm not sure.
Looks awesome.
I'm not sure, but I love it.
Yeah, I mean those are obviously way more accessible, which is really cool. And the Groman, the burning one, that is coming up next year. Is it coming out next year?
Yeah, that will be available. For everybody.
You know, I didn't get the original one, and we talked about this on the show. It's awesome. It's amazing. Obviously, what he's done is he's a legend and all that good stuff. It doesn't fit my aesthetic. This one gets a little bit closer.
dude.
I think I might be in on this one.
Jay, also, I don't know. So we had Peter on the show on Toy Anxiety last night, and Hector was in the chat, and we there's a little bit of questions, but so the Groman Godzilla, I saw it in person at Comic-Con. It's a big chunky figure, right? So what Peter told us last night is that the one at Comic-Con, the prototype they had at Comic-Con, it's bigger than that. They haven't they upped it since then. They were like, let's make it bigger. So he was like, it is a huge figure. It is it is a big chunky boy, and I think you need it.
Yeah. I mean, this one is like, I like this one better than like the other one is just, it's great. It's, I mean, a work of art. I get it. It's not necessarily my aesthetic. This one, like it's closer. So, and I want to get it because it is a cool piece. So yeah, we'll see. But what I wanted to talk to you about, I think the biggest one for us, for this show, for things that we talk about that we love, is the trio there.
Yeah,
the Godzilla's Revenge with Godzilla, Gabra, and Minya there. I was a little shocked when I saw this, not because of Godzilla, not because of Minya, but when I see a Gabra coming out in 2024, holy buckets.
Yeah, Peter designed these. I think that's really cool. I love it. You don't see a lot of Gabra, period. Like I know there's some Gabra Sofubi out there, but you just don't see a lot of it. No. I was sort of shocked that this was next on the list for Mondo. It's just not what I thought the direction they would have went in, but I will pick this setup. I want that Minya. That Minya is so cute to me. I want it. I want the Gabra. Like, surprisingly, the Godzilla is my least favorite of the three here, but I want him too. I want that. I want all these. So I love
the one thing that could have made it better, maybe it's going to be an exclusive, is if they had an Ichiro to go with it.
They need an Ichiro.
I know.
They need an Ichiro. We'll talk to Peter and Hector about
if they get an Ichiro, then it automatically goes to the #1 collectible that I own. It bumps the Marmot Godzilla towers and everything else, every other cool thing that I have. It's my favorite toy. They get Toy of the Year, Toy of the Decade, Toy Line of the Year. Mondo is the greatest company in the world. So if they can do it, they can pull it off. I don't know the likeness stuff with that. I know that guy kind of got out of the acting and was like,
well, they can maybe get around it if they just make it a generic human, but give him the clothes or something. I don't know. There's probably
yellow hat and short shorts. That's all you need.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah. with real humping action with the car.
I think I want to mention it. I don't see it here. The only thing I don't see is they did also reveal a new colorway of the Aztec.
Oh yes, Godzilla. I totally forgot to put that on there.
And it looks great. I think that is one of the figures. I know you got one of the other
the red one, the first one,
I didn't buy either of the releases previously just because I was like, this is really cool, but maybe it's just not. Maybe the same way you were feeling about the Groman, it's cool, but not really for me. But I think I might get the new colorway. I like the green and gold. It looks like an actual statue to me, and I think the new one, I might pick it up.
When after our last pickups that we had, was that with you or was that with Ryan that I showed off my Max Nagata, the Miklon, it was you, the Aztec Sofubi.
Yes, that was on.
So I can put it next to that one. It'll be amazing. I can start this whole Aztec Sofubi collection.
Of course. Yep.
But yeah,
well, this is good stuff. Yeah, this is good stuff, man. Mondo's continuing to kill it. They also, had a bunch of other reveals that aren't Kaiju related, but this is the good stuff. So, what else? You got anything else here? Or?
Yeah, just a couple things from like our heavy hitters, right? The guys that we know that love. This one I think you'll dig from Marusan. Now, a lot of these were released at the Monster Patrol pop-up that happened the day before DCon, but I think some of them did make their way to DCon. These are
they also Monster Patrol they put their extras or leftovers on their website, and I was waiting for it because I was hoping there would be some Garamon on there, and of course there wasn't. It was just other stuff. But
I know they sold out of them at the Monster Patrol pop-up. I don't know. I don't know what the inventory situation was like at DCon, but these are awesome. That one on the far left, the one that kind of reminds me of those Chigoken, the die cast metal Mecha Godzilla with like the blue and the yellow and the red. I love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are great. These were awesome. And I love their Garamond sculpt. I think it's one of my favorites. And these are 450, so they're big. You know, these are 11 inches tall.
He's cool. I love it. I love the purple.
Oh yeah, purple one's great. I mean, they're all good. I mean, I would take them all. And the other two I wanted to throw out there was Max Toy did another Shin Gomez Ultraman that was exclusive there. They have so many of these out. They're so good. I love them all. I'm looking at the bright red ones from the Wonder Toy Convention in Osaka right now. It's on the other side of it. They're awesome.
You got some on your site, right?
I do have a few. I have the Wonder Toy, and then I have one of the clear black Shin Gomez that was a partnership with One Up that Max Toy and One Up did. Yeah, very cool. And then I want to throw out, I know Peter, when he was on Toy Anxiety, showed off his Kaiju cream, but I loved Last Bastion Studios, who most people know for Ragnar. And I own 2 Ragnars. It's a great piece of indie Sofubi. They do great stuff, Chris and Wes and that team. Well, they partnered since G-Fest last year. So last July, it's been about 6 months of this partnership with Octil, who's a tattoo artist, and he paints these great Kaiju creams. And they've been a kind of a hot commodity, a hot ticket at some of the Kaiju-centric conventions. Yeah. And these were 2. One was a one-off, and the larger one there was the DesignerCon exclusive. So really cool stuff. Some interior paint on these, which is, I always love that. I love that look. Yeah. So I thought those were cool to see them doing another con. And, hopefully we can get one of these at Kaiju Go soon too, because I'd love to get, that's an event that definitely needs a Kaiju cream. But really cool stuff. But honestly, man, that was it from kind of a decon perspective.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff. Was really jealous seeing everybody be there. It looked like a good time, man. I'm excited. I'd like to maybe try to hit it up next year for sure. But
I know. It just looked like a good time.
For sure.
Thanks everybody for making me so jealous.
Exactly.
Oh, but hey, you ready, man? You want to do?
Let's get into this list, man. All right, guys, we're gonna get into this top 10 list now. If you've been watching or listening to the show, this is what I think our third year in a row doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, is this my list from last year?
Oh yeah, just like last year, we did a recount to see how well we did against the list. And last year we tied, and hey, spoiler, we tied again this year. But I think these are always fun to look at, because it's kind of like a peek back in a certain moment in time, right? Where it's like, what the heck was I doing? Or what did I like there? But it was cool to see, like, I mean, your number 10 last year was recent Godzilla physical media, like stuff like the anime and Singular Point stuff on there.
It still doesn't exist a year later.
Yeah, I know, right?
Still not out there. Cool.
But just to highlight the ones that you did pick up, you did get yourself an Unraku and Saku. You got you the 71.
Thanks to you.
You did get the Trend Masters Doom Island Megalon.
Now, it is. Well, here's the thing. It's not the Doom Island.
Oh, it's not.
But they're the same toy, so it doesn't matter to me. I think when I put Doom Island, that's a generalization. I just wanted a Trend Masters Megalon.
Perfect.
And I got a Trend Masters Megalon.
Nice. So, yeah. Well, you got it. And then you also upped your collection. Number 4 was you wanted to get lots and lots and lots of Godzilla or Lit Goji, and you got those flocked Godzilla and stuff. Sure. So but yeah, you got a number 4, number 5, and a number 8. That's pretty damn good, man.
Yeah, I did okay. And I'm looking at this list and I'm like, oh, is this the same list I just made? No, there's some crossover, but there's some good stuff. Where's your list? I want to see.
My list right here. So I also got 3. Okay. I was able to pick up my number 10, which was a painted Max Toy Sofubi. Man, I actually got 2.
I got that too.
I know, and a non-painted. That was big. I was able to knock out number 6, which was a bigger ticket item for me in my list, was that very rare Marusan Varan. I was able to get. And then I was able to get my number 1 from our first list, which fell to number 2, was the original, the 70 Bullmark Giant Godzilla with Tower.
Ooh.
So that was mine. But, there was a lot on here that, just did not come to fruition, or I was never able to find them, or any of that stuff. So, now some of these will make a little bit of noise in this year's too, but not all of them. Some of them got cut.
I as well cut some stuff. you know, I changed some things up. Some of the stuff is sort of the same, but I put a different, you know, specification on it. So it's a little different. So
yeah,
I'm excited to get into it. Jay, do you want to go first? You want to
I'll go first.
Show your number 10? Okay.
Coming in at number 10. My number 10, bam.
Ooh.
The Onraku Onsaku GMK. Now, this is something that I've not only come around on Onraku, there are some pieces that I absolutely love. There'll be one in the honorable mention too, but I love this one. I love the GMK design. I don't have a ton of GMK like Sofubi or anything. I actually have more like X Plus and Spiral Studios that I even do, but I do love this one. This one is accessible. It's easy to get if money wasn't an issue, right? Like, I mean, you can find it. It's just expensive. I mean, this was one that like the moment you didn't win the lottery and those went out, I mean, it was, you know, $350 to $500, right? Like it's just been, and it hasn't gone down. They haven't released another colorway. But I think they destroyed it with this awesome sculpt and the eyes and everything. Like, I mean, if any of the Godzilla designs were made for Onraku Onsaku, it has to be the beefy, badass GMK. Like it really does. Like I love GMK Goji, and I do think this is one that there's a good possibility I might can take it off the list in 2020, and maybe not tonight,
maybe not tonight, but soon.
But in 2024,
I love everything Onraku does, man. They kill it. I really love the sculpts, the weirdness of their sculpts. But this is, you're right, it's one of the best. So. You know, the only thing I'm thinking here, looking at it, maybe next year, we'll make sure our slides match.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. We never have before. We
never have before, but yours look better than mine. So
but I like the shock. I like the shock of that's the thing. It's like, you know.
Yeah, me too. I like not knowing. Well, this is a good one, Jay. I like it.
Yeah. Okay, man, you're up.
All right, let me see if I can remember how to share my screen here. And are we seeing this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
Jay, I don't know if you're aware of these, but Billiken, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Billiken, they're these 10 like wind up figures. And this one is, I put this number 10 on the list because it's one of the ones that is sort of, it's not been on my mind as much as some of the others. I was like, let me put this at the end because this could be something where in 6 months I've moved on from it. But right now I really love the aesthetic of this. These like tin toys. You got the one with Mothra hanging off the tail. They're wind-ups. There's an Ultraman. The Mothra looks awesome. I just think these are really cool. And I came across these just like a little while back looking for something else.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got, because there's a couple other things that are in my head recently that all kind of share the same kind of, you know, look a little bit. But this popped up and I have not been able to stop thinking about them because it's such a unique collection outside of Sofubi, since it's like metal, you know, it's like, it's just different. And I'm like, I bet these look really good together on a shelf. Like it's not a bit, there's not a ton of these, you know, there's only basically what you see here unless I miss some. So
I do know that when you start going down, like you think Soft Final's crazy, when you start going down the die-cast Chogokin, tin toys, like all that kind of like thing, it's a whole different ballgame because those things deteriorate so bad, and there's been lots of issues like it. You get these, and the more vintage you get, like that is nuts. But yeah, I always think of Billiken from their model kits, but these wind-ups are very very cool, and that's a good one. I mean, this is that's definitely something that I think would be a really cool collection to own and display.
Really I've been looking into it a little bit, but that's my number 10.
Did you have one that like was like one? Was there like a single one that was jumping out?
You know, I mean, I really like the blue Godzilla with the Mothra tail. I think the Ultraman just looks the colors look so good on that tin, on that metal. It pops so good. They all look great. I mean, they all look great. They're super nice and shiny here. But yeah, I think these are just cool toys.
Yeah, the Ultraman, like it plays out like you can. It's a Tokusatsu toy, Ultraman toy. It's also like a vintage, cool, like for a vintage collection. Also, even though I know he's not a robot, like it looks like it could fit in with those 10 robots of like
for sure.
the 70s and stuff. You know, like I think it would be really cool. That's awesome, dude. I love this one. I was not expecting this one.
Yeah, there's might be some weird stuff on the list this year.
Okay, well, I will go to my next one. This one is definitely new and definitely one of those that is of my mindset now. This is something of the last few months. I've been really digging this stuff, and I want to get this signature piece from it from way back in the 70s. For Masadaya, the Dr. Gory. I want to get that. And this guy, like he said, he's out there in various states of cleanliness and frazzledness. But I love Spectre Man. Dr. Gory's my boy. And this one with the crazy hair, I don't know, man. I love it. The pink lavendery suit, just amazing. And Masadaya did a lot of the Spectre Man stuff, the original toy lines and stuff. So their stuff is kind of great. And that's a line I really want to start collecting. But this was the one from the line that's like, once I have this, I'm happy. Everything else is gravy. Right. So after this, I'll get the Dust Man and the Spectre Man and all that stuff. But I got to get the Dr. Gory because it's so creepy.
I like how crazy this looks.
It's so crazy.
I love it. I love it. I don't know anything else about it. I just love how this looks like it comes to life at night. And
and it
bites your toes, you know?
I also I love the combination. Like we always talk about Sofubi and all the gimmicks, right? Like we talk about glow in the dark and glitter and clear and color changing and, you name it. We don't see a lot of Sofubi with hair. So, I mean, that's it. Yeah. And let me just look at this guy. He's he's awesome. But I'm really into Spectre Man right now, and I just love the wackiness of the design. So it's not the last thing you'll see from the show on this one.
Okay.
And the other one I think will be even more surprising, maybe knowing like what I normally like. But this is on there, and he's number 9. And I hope to knock him off the list this year too.
I love it, dude. Cool. All right.
What do you got for number 9?
Now, my 9 will probably be a quick one because we, this is nothing new here. But I had to put the toy graph on here. I know this was my number 1 last year, and even though this is number 9 on my list, this is still at the top of my list. But they are so expensive. They don't come up as often. There's been a couple times over the last year where I've said, all right, Jay, let's find me one and buy one tonight. And then we can't find one that I like. Because there are a couple here that I don't. They're expensive. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like if I'm gonna get one, I don't want the one to be the one my least favorite. So now this last month, I have found multiples on eBay. Like they are popping up, but it's because it's Christmas time and people need money. So
they need money.
And it's a time of the year that I can't be dropping $400 or $500 on a fucking toy. So
I think that's a good rule for all of our listeners. Regardless of your financial state, it doesn't matter. I think a good rule that we've learned from you and Toygraph is, hey, if you don't love it, don't spend $400 on it. Make sure it's something you like, because
yeah, you're right. I mean, my goal here is to get one of each.
Yeah,
I would love to get one of each here, and I got a couple. I like most of the colorways.
Yeah.
The only one I really dislike is the orange body. I just don't think the orange body looks great.
I like the glow ones. The glow ones are my
the glow ones are really cool. The ones, all the way the 2 on the far right are my favorites. I think. Yeah, it's an awesome toy. It's one of the best sculpts I've ever seen. I love it. I'm hoping I can knock at least one of these out this year. But yeah, I just wanted to throw it on. It was one like I kind of didn't want to put it on the list because it was there last year.
Yeah,
but it takes up so much space in my head that I was like, I got to at least put it on there because I'm not being true if I don't put this on the list. So.
And then you start saying like, oh, I got these other 10 toys that I kind of like. They're all $40.
Right,
I've just bought this, Yeah, I got it. But that's an awesome one. I love. And Toygraph did so much. So all their stuff is good. I've never had a Toygraph that I'm like, I don't like this. Like they deliver.
There's a lot of their stuff's great.
That's great.
Yeah, that's my number 9.
From number 1 to number 9, that's a big drop. So you're going with quality. So this next one for me is something that I've been looking out for a long time since I missed out on it. And this is totally out of left field. We've talked about watching this show, the movie this comes from, as one of those kind of like, I make you watch something I know you're gonna be like, what the hell did you just make me watch? And that's from the Hong Kong tokusatsu show from the Shaw Brothers, Super Inframan. This is the Unbox Industries and Playtoy Hong Kong Super Inframan, 9.5, 10-inch tall Sofubi. They did a couple colorways. This is kind of the one that looks like his character. I absolutely, it's such the weirdest show. Like, it's so just crazy. I mean, like, even in the world of tokusatsu, it's like, what? I love this toy. Unbox Industries does great stuff. I don't know as much about Playtoy HK, but you know, I don't know too many Hong Kong Sofubi bakers, but it's this just looks so cool. It's like I said, it's a big figure. It has that classic kind of Sofubi, like this could fit in with like the Metacom tokusatsu type stuff, but yet it's Super Inframan. Yeah. And like I said, I love that. That show makes me just smile, and so I wanted to get a toy from it. Now they do have other toys that have come out from the show, from this movie, but this is the one because it's so Sofubiized. And like I said, it Unbox does good stuff. So number 8 on my list, you know, was not on the radar. Well, it was on the radar last year, but maybe not the top 10. But it's this Super Inframan. So if anybody has a lead on one, let me know.
Let Jay know. Yeah, this is cool. I love it. I love his eyes. I love his big blue.
Yeah, it's really cool. And this is that's one that's like, it's not a matter of money. Like, it's not like, oh, I can get it, but I don't have the money for it.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't find this guy.
You just can't find it. Yeah.
Can't find him nowhere. Yeah.
Well, Jay, my next one is one that I don't have the money for.
I have a lot of those in here.
This one, let's see. The TYG toy GMK. This is, dude, the sculpt on this, I cannot get over how perfect of a sculpt this is. I like how gnarly it is. I like how big the scales are on him. Everything. This is a perfect toy. I just did a tattoo of this toy recently just because I love the design of it so much. These are pretty expensive. I know they had the blank go up pretty recently, but I don't want a blank. You know what I mean? I want a color. I want some color in there. So this is just a beautiful toy, man. I don't know. I'm sure when these go on sale, they are super hard to get. I'm sure they go pretty quickly, but they're beautiful. I've seen people, do some photos or videos with them, and it's just like, this is a piece of art. This is such a beauty.
I think the GMK was one of the 2 that they gave away at G-Fest as part of the giveaway. It was a custom painted by Kaiju canvas, and they did it as part of the Collect All Monsters giveaway. It's cool. I mean, I've seen it in person. It's an awesome toy.
It's great. And I mean, all their stuff is great, but this GMK is just is perfect. It's a perfect toy, dude.
Are they doing any? And I can't remember. Are they doing any of the crossover with the vinyl monsters or whatever it's called with
Spiral toys? I think is where they. I think that's where they were selling them. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly, but I know
they have the partnership.
There's a partnership with Spiral. I don't know.
We'll have to get AJ on here to talk about it.
We'll see, but. It's a cool toy.
That's a good one. I mean, we already have some 2 GMKs on our list already.
Yeah.
Mine will be easier to find.
For sure. That's one I'm not counting on. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not counting on having that toy next year. It's a good toy.
You never know. This one is a repeat from last year. It's moved up. I think it was number 9 last year. But I've yet to find this one. And that is, I think it was released in 2007 from Marusan. Let me see if I can add him.
What you got?
Giant Gilala. The giant, call it 450-esque Gilala. It's the standard look and color. They did this in obviously the smaller form. I have some of the Marusan Gilalas, but I want the giant one. And I've yet to see it up for sale. So this is one that I'm on the lookout for constantly. This is one that I do search for every week or so just to see if it's out there, and I've yet to find one. But it is definitely on the list. I think this
Yeah.
is one like if it's within reason, even if I'm not like, oh, I'm in the mood to buy some toys. If I just see it and it's like reasonable, I'm grabbing it because I've been looking for it for about a year and a half, 2 years, and I haven't seen it yet.
Dude, Gilala is one of the best kaiju designs as far as toys go. It is just so great. I love, dude, that is one of my favorite things about our show was our Gilala episode and watching those movies. I love Gilala.
He's the patron saint. He's the patron saint of Monster Island. He is.
You're right. Saint. You're right, dude. He is.
Well, I like him because he's one of those designs that like he's silly and he's goofy and it's like, what am I looking at? But it's also like if you really break it down, like it is a really like well thought out like creature design because he's like kaiju. He also can come in that like retro sci-fi world. And like it's like he fits alien and kaiju and retro sci-fi and tokusatsu, like he plays in goofy, kaiju comedy. Like he fits in everything. And the design is wonderful. And I do like I love all the Gilala stuff that I have. It's one of my faves. So it's
Good
beautiful.
one.
And I want to get the giant one.
Good one. Yeah. Now, Jay, my number 7 is a lot like your number 7. It's not a Gilala, but I mean it's
big.
It's from last year. It's a holdover from last year. Everything we just said about Gilala's design, I think we could say the same thing about the design of this guy.
I'm intrigued.
Now, last year when I had it on my list, there was one specific one that I wanted. Okay. This year, I'm just looking for I am looking for the perfect Garamon Pigmon toy. I have yet to really like. Dude, when I saw Ultra Q, I fell in love with Garamon. He is just he's one of my favorites.
Both the episodes are great.
Yeah, they're both great. I love it. I do not have like a standout figure of Garamon. I don't.
They're all good.
I mean, I got a Max toy, which is great, but he's this big.
Small.
I've been looking. This dude in the middle, his eyes blink. I forget who put these out.
They did the doll eyes.
Yeah, there's doll eyes on them. I love the one where he's in the meteor here. These big. I just like. One, I need like a signature Garamon or Pigmon toy. I just need it. And I think it's an easy get. It's not something, it's a little abstract because I can go in so many different places, but
you just want that one piece.
This year I need it. Yeah. I just want a big, I know I got a US toys on here and they're not big, but I love the US toy sculpt, but that's it, man. I need one.
It's hard, man, because it is. I feel like there's not a bad Pigmon Garamon toy, but to your point, like, is there one that is like heads and tails above everyone, all the other ones? I don't know. Like, I have the one in the meteor. I have the glow in the dark one in the meteor. Yeah. I love it. That's great. It's not huge, right? It's like it's big, but I do have a Marusan 450 of kind of like I call it the crazy hair Garamon, the one that's definitely more kind of like the suit. And I have the purple glitter clear one that was the Asuka Kubo exclusive, or the one that she did. And I got it at Monster Patrol when I was in LA because it was fun. It was a trip and we were there and like I wanted to get something to commemorate it. And I thought, hey, what better than a Garamon toy? I wouldn't necessarily say that sculpt is like my favorite necessarily of them. But honestly, the one you had last year, which was that rare M1 Marusan joint collab, I think that the clear pink, the really bright pink, that's a really good one, man. That's definitely up there. I don't know. It's like they're all good, so you can't make a wrong decision. But like, I just don't know if there's an answer. It's almost like you should need its own podcast.
I was stuck on that clear pink one for a long time, but I know we were having troubles finding one. We could never really find one for sale. So I was like, you know what? I might need to just let go of my dreams of the clear pink one for now and just get something else. But I love the looks of all of these, and I was like, I'm gonna have to get one. He's gonna have to go back on my list. So,
well, I tell you, man, the one that you should have got was you could have just afforded me a cool like $1,600 and that giant like 3 foot tall one that was in that guy's hotel room at G Fest that was selling, that was like made of like real like the same material they make like the suits from. It was in there. That would have been a good signature Garamon.
That's what I needed. That's what I needed.
Well, this one though is different. This is a fun journey because you can like. There's so many, and there's
so many I can make some choices. Yeah, exactly. So
and you might have to buy.
It's gonna be fun.
You might have to buy 10 of them, and pick which one out there. Yeah,
that's what's gonna happen. It's not a one. I just need to start with one. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, that's a good one. My number 6 is a repeat. It did fall down a few steps. I think fell down 2 spots. And I got something similar to it this year, but not this one. And that is from Toygraph.
Okay.
The Tokyo Kaiju Tower. So I have the Ultra Cube, but I definitely want to get the one with the Toho Kaiju.
You have
Mothra and Hedorah and Godzilla and Gorosaurus. And I really want this one. And it'll look good next to that Tokyo Ultra Q Tower.
Yeah, you just have to get it now. You can't getting the Ultra Q one. It's like you can't let this go another year.
Well, this one, like when I first like really started getting Sofubi, and I looked at this one, like it was on the list, but it was I was still buying other things, and and it was like $300-400. Now it's like you can't get it for $1,000. And then one did drop below that not too long ago. I totally missed it, but like this is one that's like. It's so expensive, right? Yeah. So it's also like realistically, one's just gonna have to fall in my lap at the kind of the right time and the right place. And after I've gone on a hiatus and then finally pick this one up. So yeah, this is gonna be a hard one to get because of availability, but also the price tag. It's so expensive, but it's a beautiful, awesome piece. And getting the Ultra Q one makes me want this one even more now.
Yeah, dude, you get it. You get it.
Yeah, but the cool thing is there was so much new stuff that I've wanted this year that I've got. Like this one actually dropped 2 spots. So
wow,
so it's crazy. But yeah, that was my number 6, the Toygraph.
It's a good one.
Kaiju Tower.
It's a good one. All right, let's see. I cheated on my number 6, Jay.
Cheating is fine. It's allowed.
I cheated and I put 3 figures on one thing because they all kind of share that they're
oh yes,
so
yes.
I've always wanted a Death Kappa, even though that movie's not great, the figure is amazing. Yeah. I know you got a Death Kappa over there.
Kubo, yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen this Kappa in the pickle. The Kappa
we've actually talked about it on the show.
Did we talk about it on here? David Kaufman?
Yeah, I had some new ones at DCon.
He did. He had a couple of DCon. I have been watching these a lot. This is one of those toys where I know I'm going to get one. He sells them often, but they're always like, I got 3, DM me right now. You know what I mean? It's like they're gone so quick. But I love that he comes out of the pickle. He can ride a pickle. I love the David Kaufman Kappa, Brian. And then this other one is Unplug Works. It was another one. They had this at DCon as well.
Oh, very cool.
It's newer to me, but I just love Kappa. I love the way they look. They freak me out. And I just want all of them. So I just wanted to throw a little a Kappa extravaganza here because they're all on my list. So
I just love that they love cucumbers and have to pour cold water on their heads, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, the cool thing is now that the Cicaluna Kubo website's been back up for a while, so like there's always like they drop stuff on there. You can
I saw Death Kappa today for sale, nice. It was, I think it was like $200, but it was available, and I was like, that's not $200 is not bad. I've seen, when I went to oh boy, where did I was it Monster Patrol maybe? Who's got the big Hedorah?
Yeah, Monster Patrol.
Yeah. Monster Patrol. I remember when I went to Monster Patrol, they had a beautiful Death Kappa in their store, but I think it was like $600 or $700.
Yeah.
It was a fancy one, but but yeah, $200. Like they're out there. I don't know what the Kappa Brine goes for. Probably something similar.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're available here and there. It's just like getting them at the right time or knowing when to grab one or being on Instagram and seeing a post or something. But these are on my list. I think for sure this year I'm going to get a David Kaufman Kappa.
I hope so.
That is just a beautiful, fun.
It's perfect.
I just love him. He makes me so happy.
Yeah, 100%. I would love to pick one of those up as well. That's really cool. And like the Cicaluna, I got mine. I lucked out and David Dobko was getting rid of his, and I was able to snag it for a really good price, and I absolutely love it. I will not part with him. He is up there for eternity. I love the Death Kappa. This is a good one, and I do think, like you said, like your Garamon Pigmon one, I think this will be fun because you're gonna have like 10 of these.
Well, there's also I almost put more. There were a couple other guys at DCon that I followed that had Kappa figures that I'm like, what? So I almost ended up putting even more on here, but I was like, let me just keep it at 3. It's supposed to be a list of 10, but
I mean, you're gonna have, because you not only have like from the films, but also like because it's yokai, because it's folklore, you have so many like interpretations of it that are it's public domain.
You could have a whole collection of just different Kappa. So but I love it. I'll put them with my Ninja Turtles. So
totally, man. He would totally wreck some stuff up in that world. Okay, so my number 5 I'm really excited about. I really want this toy. It is Spectre-Man. This is the second one from Spectre-Man. And it's freaking cool. It's very vintage. I love this thing, and that is this Masudaya Spectre-Man and the X-15 spaceship. It's a little tin toy. So it goes along with the tin stuff, but with also Spectre-Man. And I love old school retro spaceships. And what you can't see in this picture is if you turn it around, there's like a drawn on Spectre-Man fighting one of the Spectre-Man Kaiju scene in the back. It's so cool. But this is like, it just has that old tin toy vibe because it is an old tin toy. But it's retro sci-fi. It's tokusatsu. It's just so cool. I really, really want this toy.
That's a cool toy. That is a cool toy. Yeah. That is one of those toys where even if you don't know what it is,
doesn't matter.
I want
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It works in like the specificity of like I love Spectre-Man, and it also works in the like the broad of like I love old vintage toys and space toys, and like it doesn't matter that what tokusatsu show it comes from, right?
Yeah.
I just can imagine having this in one of my cases on a nice like acrylic little like cones it's sitting on. I mean, it'll be amazing. So I need this toy. I need to find this toy. And there's some really cool other tin vehicle Spectre-Man things that were made. There's like there's Karas or Ra, the gorilla that's on I don't know if he's in a car, and Spectre-Man on a tricycle. There's some older ones like that are amazing, but this was the one to me that stood out because the spaceship look and feel and aesthetic is so neat.
I also like that it's got writing all across
all over it.
And
there's a whole scene.
Dude, the Ultraman that I showed off is my number 10, the wind-up Ultraman. He also had writing across his chest, which I thought was weird, but it just looks good. Yeah,
that's cool.
A good toy.
I love stuff and color and everything. So So that was it. This is my this is one I know I'm in a Spectre-Man phase right now, but like I also kind of want, that's the next thing I want to evolve the collection. Like I want to get a few more kind of vintage tin pieces like you were talking about and other things like that to kind of, pop into the nooks and crannies of my vinyl, collection here. Yeah. So I love it.
Good. That's cool. Dude. Okay. So my number 5, a little bit of a weird one.
Okay.
And I feel like I need a little bit of explanation before I pull this up, just because it's just like a weird. It's like something. I don't even know how this started. I think I saw a picture of this kaiju somewhere, and it was one of those. It's one of those designs that you immediately love it, even if you. I loved it before I saw what it was from.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know who this is. I don't know what this is. It's weird. I'm just into it. I've probably mentioned it on the show a couple times. And then I watched, this is from Ultraman.
Okay.
And I watched the episode of Ultraman that he's from. And it made me so sad. And I watched it and it bummed me out.
Yes.
And then it made me love the character even more. And then I was like, hold on, is this character in any other? I'm like, let me look him up. Is he in other Ultraman? Does he show? He's in one fucking episode of Ultraman.
Yep.
And you have to watch him die in kind of a shitty way.
Yeah, it's
and
a very
I want Dodongo
yeah.
so badly. This is the coolest. I don't know why. He's kind of dumb looking, but I love this design. It is such a fun, like unique, weird, cool design. And I've been thinking about Dodongo for a couple months. I've been like, oh, I need to button down and figure out what this guy is. And I watched this episode of him, and you can see this one in the top right comes with the mummy. And the mummy's the bad guy here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The mummy's the bad guy. He's got Dodongo kind of under he does what he wants. And they like pluck his eyes out. Yeah. And then Ultraman like chokes him. Like you watch Dodongo fall to his knees.
Yeah.
And then just slowly die. And I was like, this is awful.
Yeah.
But I love him. The episode made me love him even more.
Yeah.
And I don't have a specific one because I don't want one.
Yeah.
I want all of these toys.
Yeah.
He's my new favorite. He is my new favorite kaiju.
I love it. I love that you love Dodongo. The episode's great. It's
episode 12.
It is sad, with that. And I have to say that's one thing that the early Ultra series, both Ultraman and really Ultra 7, I think even takes the next step, is they do a good job of these sympathetic creatures, aliens and stuff that are like, it's like they either did nothing wrong or you understood why they did something. But yet Ultraman, like, who's tasked with the protect, like he has to like basically
he hesitates too. Yeah. Before he kills Dodongo, he almost doesn't do it, and then you see him being like, well, what else am I gonna do?
He's like, it's like one of those. It reminds me, that episode always makes me think of like when the animal escapes from the zoo and they have to put it down because of like like it's not doing anything wrong yet, but it could. And it's like, it's not right for them to kill it. But like, I also like, you're kind of in the little bit of the Kobayashi Maru, right? Like there's not a right way out of it. Like that's fully ethical and good. And so like it's hard.
Dude, it bummed me out because I was like, surely a kaiju that looks like this, the episode's going to be silly. Yeah, fun.
Oh no,
and then there is some fun stuff in it, but I was kind of crushed when I watched it. I was like, wow, okay, they just fucked that guy up. But
yeah,
I love him, dude.
I like that episode would work even without the mummy, even if he was just wild. Dodongo got loose, right? It's such a weird. I always thought this one was such a weird pairing of like the mummy and Dodongo. Hey, I have a question for you. So Marusan does a beautiful Dodongo. US Toys does a great Dodongo. What is that one in the top right? The one with the mummy. I've never seen it.
It's called Future. Future models or something like that. And they have a lot of different colorways. And I mean, they make him look like a badass.
That's majestic dragon.
Yeah, but I put him in here because I thought it was cool that he comes with the mummy, and I did see a few of those available. You know what I was bummed though that I didn't find?
What's that?
There are 0 Sofubi figures of Ultraman riding Dodongo. When I was watching the show, Ultraman jumps on him and rides him, and I was like, oh, there's got to be toys of this. The only thing I found was like a keychain, and it's little. It's like this big, and it's Ultraman just like riding Dodongo, and I was like, how come there aren't any like full on Sofubi pieces of that? Because I loved that, but good stuff. Really cool design.
Yeah, that's cool. I'd never seen that Future Models one. That's really cool.
Yeah,
I love Dodongo. So my number
sad boy.
Well, my number 4 is also from a sad film called Godzilla versus Gigan. So this was my number 1 last year. It dropped down to number 4.
Okay,
and it's changed a little bit. So that, of course, is the Godzilla Tower. So
last
year. So I have 2. I have the yellow and I have the red. I want, and I know there's 4 because there's 2 different color spine for red, but ultimately I want the blue vinyl with the green paint. And the reason it fell to 4 is because this thing has actually come up about 3 or 4 times since last year. I mean, these things are going for $1,200 to $1,300. let's just say like I got both of mine for way less than that.
That's
So,
amazing, yeah.
so to me, like, I think until I see some go for more, and I say reasonable for me.
Yeah.
1,200, but could have that frat person, if it makes them happy, awesome. But for me, I did factor in like likelihood. And for this one, like to me, I'm okay sitting with my 2 than paying 1,200 for this. I'd rather wait till it gets into a little bit different world. And I've bid on some pretty high and lost, and which is great. I'm glad that, you know, people are making their money, but I would love to have this to complete the trio. If I get the other red one, extra gravy. But like, to me, like, I want the 3 different colorways. And then rock and roll from there. But I think it's my favorite Sofubi piece in the world is the Marmot Tower, a Godzilla Tower. It's probably my number 1 favorite Sofubi item. So I have to want to complete the trio. You know what I mean? I have to, but it did fall because, like I said, I'm really kind of more focusing in, and I like I said, the accessibility's kind of hurt it a little bit for me personally, because I just can't drop $1,200 on a on a third Godzilla tower.
Right.
You know, it's like, you have 2, dumbass.
Right.
Don't get greedy. But that's it. Yeah, I mean, it's a great piece, and I hope to maybe one day get this one in rock and roll.
I think I had this on my list 2 years ago or something like
so,
that.
yeah.
But then I was like, I'm never gonna pay $1,200 for a toy. Just put that out of your head. I'll live through Jay's.
Everything's cyclical, man. Everything's cyclical.
Man,
you know, it'll hopefully come back down again,
yeah.
but we'll see. It's a cool piece. It's I think it's Sofubi perfection. It's a whimsical subject. Sure. It's something that's not done a ton. They do it in a fun, inviting, welcoming way. Like, it is just a great piece, and in some different colorways, and it kind of hits all the notes.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's beautiful. So my my number 4, I kind of had on the list last year.
Ooh,
but it's more, well, it was more generalized last year. It's more focused now. I had, you know, Godzilla Land on the list last year, but it was just Godzilla Land.
Anything.
And I still want just Godzilla Land. But one of the things that I found recently was 2 of the flocked figures. It's the only time I've ever seen them for sale. So I bought them, but there are many more. And it's not just, you know, these ones in the middle here aren't even branded as Godzilla Land, even though the Godzilla is identical to the Godzilla Land.
I would never have guessed that. Yeah.
But there are multiples. And as you can see, there's two colors of the same Ghidorah here. There's 3 colors of the exact same Mothra here. So
is that Baragon in the back? Behind Ghidorah in the back?
Yes, down here at the bottom, there's a Baragon. There's a Rodan. There's multiple different Mothras here. And there's a lot of it. And it's hard to find any of it. There's not even a ton. I had to get some of my screenshots here from Monster Island Buddies. That guy has an amazing video on Godzilla Land stuff, and that's where most of my Godzilla Land merchandise knowledge comes from. Is he finds stuff and I see what he finds, but a lot of it is not out there. You know, you just have to find it somewhere. So I found 2 of the Godzilla Land flocked figures, a Godzilla and a Ghidorah, you know, this past year, but that's like the tip of the iceberg. So I want more flocked figures. Flocked figures are hard because the flocking sometimes does not hold up over time. It just depends on what you find, but I just want more of these.
I love it, dude. Holy buckets. This is cool. Is that so in the bottom, the one that has the Baragon in it, that photo in the bottom corner, is that a Godzilla or is that a Minya in the
There's a Minya in the bottom. Yep, there's a Minya there.
Okay.
And then the Godzilla is you know, in the bigger photo. There's a Rodan. There's somebody who looks like Gamera.
I was about to say, is that like a giant turtle?
Yeah, there's a Gamera. And then the ones that are in those clear boxes are Godzilla Land specifically. So the bottom right, Ghidorah and Mothra are Godzilla Land, and the top left, that looks like a pug. That's Mothra. You know, that's Mothra's head. So.
It does look like that.
So yeah, there's some weird ones, but they're awesome. It's like it's just a weird little line of toys they did, and I just want all the flocked Godzilla, dude.
I absolutely adore this green, spearminty green Ghidorah in the bottom corner with the pink and purple Mothra.
Yep.
That thing is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah, well, good luck on this. I know this is one. It's like it doesn't matter. Like you just almost have to like accidentally stumble upon.
Yeah, you don't see it. I have a couple saved searches for Godzilla Land in general. Godzilla Land, Lit Goji, like flocked Godzilla, Godzilla Land. You have to do them separately. Like I have a bunch of saved searches, and I still go in and look, you know, often to try to find any of these. So it's hard, dude. Like I said, I've only found 2 ever for sale. It was weird because I found them for sale on the same search from different sellers, bought them both immediately. They're the only 2 I've ever seen for sale. So
now, if you need Godzilla Land stickers, you can get that easy.
They're everywhere. You can get those stickers. But
oh, that's a good one, man.
Okay, number 4.
Okay, now number 3 for me. Some people, if you would talk to me, I thought this would have been my number 1, but it's not.
Okay.
But so it's one I've been talking about a lot on the show, and I just haven't got it yet, and I haven't been able to win any of the auctions for it or anything. And that is from the new player on the block, I think in our world, at least in the Toho license, Neo Player 1, Godzilla 64. Now I have the pink one, and the reason maybe I think this is not number 1 is because I do have the pink one, and it's great, and I love it. I like this. This is my favorite colorway, and of that, and I know they're doing other ones. This is still the one to me that I just, for some reason, it speaks to me. I don't have this one, so I think if I didn't have the other one, it would have been number 1. But I have that, so like it takes a little bit of the edge off of not owning this one. But I still want to be able to look out for this one. I love it. I think it's one of the best, the coolest, the most rad Godzilla anything that's been released anytime, anywhere. It's one of my favorites, and I'll be shocked if it's not at least in the toy of the year for the Jeffries, the Kaiju toy of the year for the Jeffries this year. It is such a very, very, very cool piece, and they came out hot with this one in the Hedera early on. So I love the blue. I love the blue.
Yeah, it's good. There's nothing else I can say about this.
We've talked about this one on the show.
Yeah, they're killing it with these sculpts. I'm surprised this isn't on my list, honestly.
Yeah, so this one is one that's just hard to like. This one hasn't popped up recently.
Yeah.
The pink ones you can get. But this is the one that's really hard.
Yeah, very cool, Jay. It's a good one. So my number 3, it's not rare.
Okay.
It's not expensive as far as Sofubi goes. I could probably get one tonight if I really wanted to. And I do want to. And that's why it's number 3, because it's just like, it just keeps, I see them every now and then for sale and I don't grab it, or I got something else I'm paying. It's just never been a good time. But it is like eating at me that I don't have one yet. And it's Reptilicus. The M1 Reptilicus.
Yes.
I love this toy.
It's great.
So much. And there's tons of different colorways. I see every now and then I'll see one for sale, and it's either like not the one I want, or it's just a bad timing. I don't think these guys are like breaking the bank. I don't think they're very expensive. No. But this past year I've gotten a lot of Sofubi, or not even just Sofubi, you know, some of the Star Ace stuff, a lot of the Harryhausen toys, you know, the Gorgo Sofubi. I like the thought of getting these other toy, you know, Sofubi for these other monster movies that I loved as a kid that aren't necessarily Godzilla movies or Japanese. So Reptilicus is one of those movies, and I used to watch it so much when I was a kid. You know, right up there with the Day of the Triffids figure. I picked, like, it reminds me of that kind of stuff. So I got this as number 3 because this is I'm gonna have to get this soon, or it's gonna drive me crazy. And I know I can probably do a quick search and find a couple out there, but Yeah, I just need this toy. Do you have this toy? Do you have a Reptilicus?
No. It's funny you mentioned. I almost put this. This was like I had an image of this on my honorable mention slide.
Yeah.
Because I almost bought the Beetlejuice one. If you've seen that one, the Beetlejuice one. At G Fest, I didn't, because at the end of the day, like I think the one that you have front and center with the green that's the one that I've been looking for, or the one I'm looking at to the left, with the purple metallic.
Those are the two that I want.
Same. Yeah. And they're great. I've seen them in person 1,000 times. I've never picked one up. I definitely it would be. I mean, this is a top 20 pick for me, and I really want to get one. But it's just one of those things. It's like, okay, I'll get it next time. It's
same.
Like, sometime we just got to pick it up.
We're just gonna have to do it. Yeah, same. I almost didn't put that glow in the dark one at the bottom on here because I don't think that's one of my favorite. Look, I really love the one that I have the biggest, the green one, and the purple one. Those are my two, main picks here. But yeah, I love Reptilicus, and I'm gonna have to get it. So.
That's a great pick, man. That's a great one. So my number 2 was, like Gilala, one of those that was on my list last year, but skyrocketed up.
Okay.
I think it might be spurred on with a good friend also getting this and like beating me to it, but like I'm glad they got it because they probably love it more than me. Yeah. But this is my number 2, and it's been on my list. I think this is the only one, because the Marmot Towers weren't on there the first year. I think this might be the only one that's been on my list all 3 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, because Gilala wasn't, the tower wasn't, and nor was the Kaiju Tower in year 1.
Okay.
And it is from Marmot. The Godzilla Wars Space Godzilla. Now, if I just said Marmot Space Godzilla and all of the 5 or 6 different variants, it would be middle of the pack. But I want to hone in on this one because this one would be number 2 to me. This is my favorite of the lot. I love them all. They're all great. I would, I want to get one of them, but this is the one that is just like, I mean, it just speaks to me. You know what I mean? It's one of those things like
it's one of the ones that calls to you at night. Yeah.
It is. It is like the Godzilla Tower. It is like the, the Toy Graph Oxygen Destroyer variant. It's like the Crystal Megalon. Like there's the Marmot Red Varan, which is one of my favorite Sofubi items. It's just everything about it's like, this is what my toy collecting experience needs. It needs this. Yeah. So this Space Godzilla, he's been on there all 3 years, and I'm still without him.
Jay, this is the third. It can't be on there a fourth. You have to get this toy this year.
You're only allowed to do it 3 straight years.
And then you have to buy it.
Hey, if I could find one that pops up, and not just, hey, this was sold, I would be there. So anybody, hey, if you know of one, have a lead on one, let me know.
Yeah.
But this is one that once I see it, I'll do everything I can in my power and be responsible to acquire him, because I do think like it's just a cool piece. This is one of my favorites. And when you say Sofubi, and I'm like, okay, like your head just goes to an image, right? Like, yeah, it might be vintage Marusan, it might be the M1 Nakajima, it might be whatever. Like to me, like this is in the short list of things that pop in my head when I hear like Sofubi. It's like, bam, it's Marmot Space Godzilla.
Out of the 10 things that flash,
it's one of them.
It's one of them. Cool.
I love this guy. I love the multi blues. I just think it's just cool and neat.
Yeah. All right, man.
What's my number 2?
God, we're down into number 2 already. So this next one, I've definitely talked about it before. I've talked to you about it before. I believe we've tried to look for one before and couldn't find this either. But this is another one that's been eating at me for a bit now. Is Pulgasari, dude. I want a vintage Pulgasari. I got 3 of the Mondo Pulgasari figures. I got the big one and then 2 of the smaller ones, and I want more of them. I really I think Pulgasari, if you take away all the weirdness of what happened, it is one of the best Kaiju designs I've ever seen.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I love him so much, and I love the little baby Pulgasari here. So I really want to get. I would be happy with either one of these, the black and gold or the red and gold and purple. I don't love the one that's just full gold.
All gold.
You see those,
and that's
too.
the one that you see all the time.
That's the one you see, but I don't like that one as much.
I hate how it does.
I would be I would be happy with either one of these two bigger ones, and then I would love to get the small one as well. But I picture how good that collection will look with my 3 Mondos and vintage ones. And then part of me keeps like wanting to go back. You know how like not that long ago Mondo posted, because we both got the blue one. Yeah. Well, they had posted 2 for sale. And I keep going, oh, I should go look and see if that green one is still up. And if it is, then that's a sign I should go ahead and buy that one too. Because I want all the Pulgasari. I think it's such a cool looking toy. This is on my, I mean, it's number 2. It's number 2. Yeah.
Well, you know, the gold one is, I think the all gold one is great. It's just when you see what the painted ones look like.
Yeah.
I think it's just like, you would look at it and be like, well, you know, this is awesome, but I wish it was the black and gold or the red and purple and gold. Like these are just too good.
The gold one I would buy if I already had one of these. You know what I mean? It's not that I wouldn't buy it, and if I came across it somewhere in a store or something, then maybe I would just pick it up. But that's the last one that I want to get. I want these. So yeah.
Ooh, that's a good. You know, it's funny when you mentioned, or when you said like this is one that we've talked about, I was trying to rack my brain. I totally forgot that we did try to.
Yeah, I think we looked for it one time and all we found were gold ones. Yeah.
Okay, so real quick, and you don't have to do this if you don't want. I wanted to throw some honorable mentions because these are just other ones I think are really cool. Is you know, I did put the first two I'm going to put together, the Shogun Warriors Godzilla, the Mattel, and the Popey Jumbosaurus. I've been like, you know, I have the Mattel Godzilla gang. I have the Bullmark Giant, and I have the Marusan 66. You know, I'm getting and the Bandai 83, the 62 Godzilla, but in 1983. Like, I'm trying to get like, I like to have all of these like what I'm going to call, for lack of a better term, important Godzilla toys.
I'm surprised you don't. I'm surprised right now that you don't have a Shogun Godzilla.
Well, the Shogun one, to me, like I'm buying it because of the historical importance. I would like it. I also want a Shogun, the one with the Japanese, not the American one. So the Japanese one with this Japan strip is a little bit harder to find.
Yeah,
but you can get it. This like the Reptilicus, I can go in there and buy this tonight,
yeah,
right?
You see them often. Yeah.
I mean, they're going down in price, and it's been great. The Popey Jumbosaurus, it's obviously a much, get one with a voice box that works and everything. It's a much bigger spend. But I love those. And also Ryan Wilhelm has both of these. So I'll just like, you know, when he's not looking, I'll just steal them. The one in the middle is just because it hasn't technically come out yet. They start delivering here at the end of the month, and I did not win the lottery, but I hope that I can snag one of these on the secondhand market. The Unraku Space Godzilla. Love that one. It's so awesome. Great. Yeah. It's so good. So if it had already come out, if we did this list in January, it probably would have been in the top 10. Yeah. The next one is, you know, I have my Jun Monzame Ultra Q, the Kenji Sahara character in Sofubi form. I have to get the Yuriko. I mean, she's the best. And it comes with a little camera there that Marmot did. So I want to complete my Ultra Q. My Ultra Cube is filling up, and I really want her opposite June Monzame, so it'll just have this really cool thing. This is a cool piece. I've only seen this available a few times, and it went for a good amount. So I don't know how, you know, I haven't done like a where I have a weekly search on it, but that's one that I'll be doing. And then
you're getting there.
Yeah, and the last one I had was a Kaiju Cream, just because I want to get one of these because I love what they do. They look like, but I want to get one that's an event I'm at. So I want to have like an
exclusive to an event. Yeah. Well, I don't have any slides for honorable mentions, but I have been like, you know, when I got my that Shin X Plus a couple weeks ago, I put some of my X Plus all together on a shelf. So I have like a Godzilla 89, the Godzilla versus Gigan Godzilla, Shin, and then Godzilla versus Ebra, all kind of lined up. And it just really has made me want to, you know, maybe search out some other Godzilla X Plus, specifically Godzilla, the Kaiju Godzilla, and get more suits. I want more of the other Shin Godzilla X Plus figures. I did have on my list maybe last year that I really want a gigantic, and I still do. I still really do. I don't know when that will happen, but
you have space.
Yeah, but that's it for honorable mentions. Really. I didn't sit and spend too much time doing honorable mentions. I just
to me, I was like everyone I took off the list, the last 4 or 5 I took off the list, I just said, I'll just keep
you just put them. Yeah, no, I get it.
Okay, so my number one, drum roll. This is not a shocker. We've talked about this one on the show. We've talked about how I think it might be if it wasn't for the outrageous price point, and I say outrageous, like I'm glad they're getting it for it, but I'm saying for me, it's out of the budget right now. But it would be worth every penny. So it's not, like I said, I'm not mad about the price for them. I just stinks for me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's this guy. And I do know one of my good friends, Jess, she has it. I'm very glad because she loves it. But every time she posts a picture, I'm like, I'm gonna have to go steal that from you. And that is from Neo Player One. The green Godzilla 1905 with the smoke clouds around him. This thing is huge. It's gigantic. It's amazing, but it's a $1,500 to $1,800 toy. So it's once again, it's out of the price range, but it is one of those things, like it is possible to get. Once again, if I woke up and somebody gave me $1,800, I could go buy it, right? I don't have that. But it's awesome. I think it is a showstopper. I think it's fun and whimsical and silly, but also awesome. Yeah. And it captures what Neo Player One does the best right now. I really think they own this type of this playful aesthetic, especially at that scale. So yeah, I don't know. I just think this is almost perfect. I really do think it might be the perfect Sofubi toy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when we're doing these kind of lists, these are all things that we really love and want to get every one of these. But yeah, this is a toy. This is a toy that feels like it should be at the top of it. Yeah, if this isn't at the top of everybody's list, then
yeah, this one I really think, and I speak a little bit hyperbolically about when I say some other ones, or maybe even more like just like facetiously, but like this one, like I don't think it is hyperbole that. If I got this toy tomorrow, it would be my number one toy that I own in the world of my Kaiju collectibles. It would be my, the one thing I save when the house is burning down, right? Like I think it would jump to that. It would be that cool. So I think this is that's why I had to put it at number one, even though realistically it's probably not gonna be something that I get anytime soon. But it had to be number one for me. I just wouldn't have felt good about the list if it wasn't number one, because it is number one.
Right. Yeah, dude, I get it. It's worth it. This is a worthy number one, dude.
The crazy thing is, going into this year, I don't know if I'd ever heard of Neo Player One, and now 2 of them are my top 3.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how it happens, dude. Cool. Good stuff, dude. So my number one is a little different. It is it's something I've had a conversation with you about these before, but I don't know how much we've ever really talked about it on the show. It's one of those collections that I've seen before, but never really cared. And then all of a sudden, a little while back, something like I saw a picture or something, and I was like, well, hold on. I was like, what is this? And you can get these. They're out there. They're not like the cheapest thing, but they're not, they're not like that either. But we are talking about the Bullmark diecast.
Yes, I knew these were going to be on here.
Yes. This is such a cool collection, and what caught my eye initially was the Gigan. Yeah, this Gigan in this sort of the metal, like it just looks so cool. I started researching these. I was like, okay, there's a Godzilla, there's 2 Baragons, there's a Ghidorah, there's an Anguirus, there's a couple, I think there's 4 variants of Godzilla, and it's just they're just color variants basically. There's like a green, there's a more gray like this, there's a brown one. I just want these. They're very cool. Yeah, I think you can get them in the like 300 range, depending on if you want a box or how clean they are or if they work. but they're just beautiful, man. The Mecha Godzilla, the Godzilla is like chest comes down and there's rockets and stuff. And dude, I don't know, like these like 10 toys are kind of taking over my list this year. I think my number 10 and my number 1 are both like 10 toys or metal toys, and these have just been on my brain a lot lately.
I remember when we were talking about them the other week, and I didn't you were schooling me on these. I didn't know much about them, but I other than like just the Gigan and the Mecha Godzilla to me are always like the ones that you always like see like in images and stuff. But I had never seen the Angus one before. And it was like, it's so weird looking. It's so weird and expensive. That one is expensive.
There's 2 different Baragons I found out while I was doing this research. The Ghidorah is my least. The Ghidorah is not great, I don't think. I don't even, I'm not even sure I would be searching for that one specifically. I got him up in the corner, but the Gigan and the Mecha Godzilla, the Godzilla and the Baragon are so good. I think the first time I ever saw these toys were in that what was the name of that Kaiju book that we both bought with the auction book? You know what I'm talking about?
Vinyl Conflict or something like
Vinyl
that?
Conflict, yeah. I remember
Tom Whalen did the cover, right?
Yeah, that's the first time I saw them. They're in that book, and I remember then being like, oh, these are intriguing. And then I kind of forgot about them. But this last couple of months, they've been popping up a lot for me, and I've been like looking them up, doing some eBay research and seeing how they exist and where they exist. But these are kind of what's at the forefront of my brain right now. So they might not be the rarest on the list. They might not be like, if I really had to sit down and be like, what is the one toy I want more than anything? It's probably not these, but this collection is at the forefront of my brain right now. And that's why I got it as number 1.
Well, just like you said with the Billiken stuff, I just think that this stuff together as a collection, to your point, and the display, like it is, it's a showstopper.
It's unique. It's such a different. You don't see a lot of people with these. So
no, definitely not with more than one. That's cool. That's good. I knew these would be on your list. I didn't know where. And then as we kept on getting higher and higher, I was like, I wonder if he forgot about it. But then when you started talking about it, I was like, okay, these might be number 1 now.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it, dude.
That's it.
Woo,
that's the list.
The 3rd list is done. Let's hope. I really think it's funny. I think the first year, or I guess when we did the second list, I think we both got 3 off the list. And this year we got 3 off the list again. One of us has to break this trend.
Yeah,
hopefully for the better.
Something's got to go more. I know for sure something I almost, like I said at the start of the show, something I had on the list I ended up buying, and we'll probably have it by next episode. But
you'll probably have it in about 4 days.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll have that. But I think part of what I tried to do this year was like, let me try not to have so many unattainable, super expensive toys on the list, so I have a better chance of getting stuff that I can actually buy this year. So I'm like, I think I could. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to beat 3 this year.
Okay. You heard it here. I think also the thing that hurts us too on these lists is because they are so Sofubi heavy, but also, just broader Kaiju collectible. And there's so much new stuff coming out every day.
That's the problem.
Look at Decon. I mean, like that stuff came out. It's like, oh crud. Now I got to get that. The Godzilla's Revenge 3-pack on there, right? Bam. I got to put that, so there's so much cool stuff coming out that like, it's hard because this list would change in a week. But I feel pretty good. I feel some of these are pretty evergreen for me because I know like they've been on there for at least 2 years. Some of them 3, or one of them 3. Like I think, I gotta make some headway, man. I gotta make some headway.
Yeah, let's do it.
I just don't know which one. Hey, I'll be mad if you don't have a Reptilicus by next year. So,
dude, I have to. Like, I feel like the ones that are Reptilicus will happen. I guarantee you, Reptilicus will happen. I bet you a Garamon will happen before next year. I can guarantee you that I will have a Dodongo in the next 2 or 3 episodes. I'm gonna like that's happening. I'm waiting for Christmas to happen, and then I'm gonna buy some Dodongo for sure. But yeah, it's gonna happen. We could do it.
I was about to ask you, like, what do you think is the most likely one, the first one to come off the list? But you at the most.
I think it's Dodongo. I think it's going to be Dodongo for sure. I think that's going to be the first thing I buy. Like I'm trying to get past Christmas and like, you know, all Christmas bills and all that stuff.
Yeah, of course. That's every,
you know, assess what you got. But I think Dodongo is the first Sofubi that I'm probably going to be like, all right, let's buy a toy. And, you know, unless I just happen to come across something and be like, oh, gotta buy that.
The toy graph Mecha Godzilla, I think that'll be in there for you too. I think the toy graph.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
For me, I think it's the Enraku GMK. I think that's easy. And then I think it might be the Dr. Gory. I think I if I see a good one, I think I just might buy that one. But the other ones, it's not. Some of them are obviously are cost, like the tower, both towers and the Neo Player one. But it's some of mine is just availability. Like they have to pop up, right?
Yeah.
And then I have to either win them or be the first one to buy somebody's and stuff. So it's a little trickier, but I don't know. I don't know what the third one. I mean, I hope it's any of them really.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's a Godzilla Tower or
maybe it's a Godzilla Tower. Yeah, maybe it's a Godzilla Tower. It probably will not be. You never know, man.
You never know. Jay, I mean, I think that's it, man. You got anything else before we wrap up here? Or?
Hey, this is our last show of 2023. Another year.
Yeah, another year. 3 years, huh?
I think it'll be 3 in like May or something, or April or March or something.
Yeah, I mean, if we've done three,
when did Godzilla versus
did
Godzilla versus Kong come out in March?
I think it came in. Yeah, I think it was around March.
We started like right before that came out. Yeah. So like it's actually going to be really. I think we got started in February.
Be close.
Like, yeah, it's gonna be real close.
Yeah. Cool.
So,
all right. Well,
they still. Wow. Hey, we're still on the air.
Still going strong. All right, Jay.
Awesome, man.
We'll see you in 2 weeks, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And hey, go join the Facebook group. We got a Facebook group. As long as you're not porn and you're not like a spam bot or something that's going to post.
Apparently, we got a lot of
because it's happening a lot. So if you like that kind of thing, join the Monster Island Visitor Center on Facebook. Other than that, we'll see you guys next time.
Adios.